Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you everyone for being so prompt. We'd actually given ourselves about 15 minutes for getting everyone in and settled, but 10:30, pretty much everyone was here by the look of it, so we're going to make a start. So thank you so much. My name's Anthony Basford. I'm the CEO at East Gippsland Shire Council and also the MC for today's proceedings. I'd first like to commence by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land in which we gather today and recognise the living culture of the Gunai-Kurnai people and their unique contribution they make to our region. I wish to pay my respects to elders, past and present, and the Aboriginal community more broadly. On behalf of East Gippsland Shire Council, welcome, as I said before. I would just like to acknowledge our Mayor, Councillor John White, and our councillors that we have here, Councillor Joe Rottino and Councillor Dick Ellis. We may have some other councillors join us and some local members, but they're pretty stretched at the moment, so we're not quite sure whether that's going to occur or not. I do have official apologies from Councillor O'Connell and the Honourable Darren Chester, the federal member for Gippsland. Before we commence the official proceedings, I'd like us to take a moment just to reflect on the bushfire emergency that has ravaged our community over the last couple of months. I'd like to pay my deepest sympathies to people who have been impacted. In fact, everyone has been impacted, whether you've been in a fire ground or not. This has impacted our whole shire. The tragedy of lives that have been lost through this emergency. I think we need to reflect as well on the destruction of so many homes, properties, wildlife, the vegetation that we all love, which is one of the reasons we all live in this beautiful part of Victoria, the impact it's had on livestock, the environment, and not least the impact on individuals and communities across East Gippsland, across other parts of Victoria, and of course not forgetting all our neighbours in other states. I think in fact there has been fires burning in every state except Canberra and the Northern Territory. I'd like to commend the actions and courage of firefighters, police, the ADF, which is something new that we've never had in a fire situation before, our ADF helping us, other emergency workers, volunteers, community members, government agencies and staff, and all those that have worked so hard to fight these fires and support the fighting of these fires. Many heroic stories are starting to emerge as people start to share what they've been through. And we thank everyone, locally and people who have helped from afar to aid our communities in their recovery, which has already started. So I thought it was important that we just take a moment just to have a think about what that means for us in our communities. Despite the recent events, there is actually much to celebrate about the people of East Gippsland, the resilient people who live in this fantastic community that we work in and we all live in. And I'm pleased today that we are undertaking the East Gippsland Shire-wide Australia Day Awards. I think it's really important to refocus on the fantastic things that are happening and have happened in this community of ours. As many of you will know, we have 3 awards: the Citizen of the Year, the Young Citizen of the Year, and a Community Event of the Year. Can I thank all the nominees for their contribution, and thank you all, the for taking time to submit that nomination, because without those nominations, without that local intel, we don't know all the great work that's happening in our communities. And I encourage you all to remember there might be other people that you've since thought of, and I think there will be quite a list for our next year awards that you may wish to nominate for the upcoming awards. Before I pass to the Mayor, I will just like to acknowledge the Honourable Tim Bull, who's just walked in the room, and there he is, hiding up the back here in his civvies. So welcome, Tim. Thank you for joining us. I'd like to now invite the Mayor, Councillor John White, to come to the microphone and announce the recipients of the 2020 East Gippsland Shire Council Awards. John.
Excuse me. Thank you, everybody, and it's great to see such a wonderful turnout. Today, I don't normally get nervous in speaking to a group, but with what's been happening in our Shire over the last almost a month now, I guess I could say I've become quite emotional and anxious, and I look out at the people and just thank God that you're all still here and safe after what we've gone through. So I've probably, I'll need to read this because it's there's a little bit here, but I just say, even yesterday, I managed to catch a ride with our local members in a plane to Mallacoota, a place that I'd been needing to get to, and just through the fact that they've been isolated for so long, and then to look down on that town and what they must have gone through on that night and that day, and they're all still there. It is just astonishing. There's been some dreadful damage. I've met with many of the locals. You stand in one part of the town and you actually wouldn't know there'd been a bushfire. But when you see it from above and see how it impacted the periphery of the town and got right into the town, in fact, spot fires everywhere. Just a plug for our staff, the amazing job. They've been isolated there, and I would say absolutely understaffed for what they had to cope with, and it was nice to catch up with them yesterday and just to congratulate them on how they'd managed to keep everything going in Mallacoota, and I just hope that they're one of the first towns that really gets a boost from getting the damage repaired and people back in. And I know here you've all travelled from all parts of the Shire, but we are in Lakes Entrance, and another place that needs to get a bit of a boost as soon as we possibly can. And because people who live here and people who come here love this region, and that's why we get so many tourists. So just keep your chins up, and they will return. So just that side of it. Sorry to digress. So each year, Council receives a high calibre of nominations for the Shire-wide Australia Day Awards. Therefore, as you can imagine, it is a difficult process to select the awardees from such a strong field of worthy contenders. And thank you to all the nominators for submitting their nominees to the Shire for consideration. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank the 2019 Australia Day Award recipients for their contribution over the past years. Citizen of the Year from last year, June Drake. Young Citizen of the Year, Torrin Troy, and Community Event of the Year, the Can River Volunteer Appreciation Day. Citizen of the Year Award celebrates the achievements and contributions of local residents by profiling leading citizens who are role models for us all. It recognises those who inspire us through their achievements and challenge us to make our own contributions to improve the communities in which we live. As I stated earlier, each year the task of choosing the award recipient is particularly difficult, given the outstanding contributions made by nominees, and this year was no different. The finalists for Citizen of the Year are Mr. Peter Down, Mr. James Flanagan, Mr. Blake Hollins, Ms. Donna Jorgensen, Mr. John Morton, Ms. Desma Payne, I'll just call him Peppy, Peter Petrovich. Everyone knows Peppy. Mr. Terry Ryan, Ms. Shirley Tanner, and Red Cross East Gippsland Patient Transport Services. So today I am very proud to stand here and announce the winner of East Gippsland Citizen of the Year for 2020 is Mr. Blake Hollins from Swifts Creek. Unfortunately, Mr. Hollins is unable to attend today, so Mr. John Patterson, President of East Gippsland Legacy, will accept the award on Mr Holland's behalf. I don't think, look, I'll just have to stand at the microphone. So should I go on with the history of, to talk to you about what Mr Hollands has done in his very long life. I think, to just round it off, I think he's 95, but he is still working for his community, and he has done so all his life. Mr Hollands has been deeply involved in his community throughout his life. A member of the St John's Anglican Church at Swifts Creek, he also played football for Swifts Creek and governed on its tribunal. As a member of the National Party, he attended local meetings and state conference with other community members. His association with farming and livestock industry was instrumental in fundraising efforts for Legacy. Mr Hollands is a foundation member of Legacy East Gippsland Group, established in 1949. He also served as president in 1960. In 2011, Mr Hollands compiled the history of East Gippsland Group of Legacy, covering over 60 years. It was a very difficult task, considering most of the information was obtained from old minute books, newspaper cuttings and the odd story. The result was a valuable book on Legacy at work in East Gippsland. I might pause here to just say that I've known many people, including my father, who were members of Legacy, and I just know how valuable they were to the community in supporting the widows and their families, and still going on to this day. So Mr Hollands, like many people who have been recipients of Australia Day awards and other awards in our community, is a humble man, even amongst his fellow legatee members. Few know that at some stage in the past he was awarded, and kept it to himself, the Order of Australia medal. That's no mean feat. That's a wonderful award. To this day, he rarely misses a Legacy meeting. He travels to Bairnsdale summer and winter, regardless of the weather. His knowledge is very much respected and sought after from new legatees. Mr Holland is a highly respected and valued legatee and a great contributor to East Gippsland Legacy and his community. He still has 6 Legacy widows under his care and is in regular contact with them and takes great care of them and their needs. At over 95 years of age, Mr Holland still farms on his property, which has been in the family for generations. And in fact, I know it would have been a fair trek down the Alpine Road today because of the rock slides, etc. But we did get word that he was chasing a snake across his paddock to get it away from his livestock just yesterday. So he's certainly still active. So it's, I'd just ask Mr John Patterson if he would like to respond.
Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you.
Look, I might first, I have got a prepared acceptance speech, but I will just let you know, I let the cat out of the bag to Blake late yesterday afternoon because we were trying to get him down here, and he, a number of us tried to get him down, but he just felt he'd had a bad time with those fires at Swiss Creek. They came to his boundary basically and the wind dropped down, but they'd been chasing spot fires all night. And I think Blake is getting on a little bit, and it takes a little bit of time to get over a bit of a shock like that. We know what fires are. So please accept his. I'm sure that he's greatly honoured, I can assure you, and he's chuffed. And I've got a speech here. As president of the East Gippsland Legacy Group, I'm proud to accept this award on behalf of legatee Blake Hollands. I know that he'll be humbled to have been chosen for this honour. Returning from active duty in World War II, Blake was a founding member of the local group, and for over 70 years has been faithful to the legacy pledge of caring for the widows and dependents of those who served their country. His dedication, commitment and volunteer spirit continue to inspire us all, as he demonstrates that giving to his community is not limited by age, health, location, distance, the past or the present. On behalf of Blake, please accept these sincere thanks.
Good on you. Well done.
That's quick.
Anyway,
Well done, John. You've done a great job too.
stretch. So we have a certificate for the mantelpiece. And a medallion that if he comes out in the public could wear proudly and with honour. Thank you.
And I'll run that up to him when that road's cleared. He certainly put up with a bit over the years, that rough old road used to be. Thank you.
Look it out the road. Yep.
Thank you for accepting that on Mr Holland's behalf, and congratulations to Mr Holland again. We'd now like to just recognise the finalists. So I will ask the Mayor to read out the names of the finalists, and if you could please come forward to receive a certificate, that would be great. John.
Individually? Yeah. Okay, so I'll just read one at a time, and if you would come up, please. Mr Peter Down. Just to say, there are some incredibly fine names on this list. Of course, we could only choose one winner, but they are still worthy recipients, and I'd like to just acknowledge that for their contributions to our community. And I would suggest many of them, their contributions will be ongoing, and we do applaud that. Mr James Flanagan. Congratulations.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you, Dave.
Probably like to add here that he's shown great determination because he got down the mountain to come and visit us today. So congratulations, James. Donna Jorgensen. we have one person on the list, Mr. John Morton, who is an apology for today, but he is still worthy of being acknowledged. Thank you. Ms. Desma Payne. Thank you. Peppy. Oh, that was John. Right. Now for Peppy. In reading his nomination, I don't think there's anything that Peppy hasn't been involved in over the years, so congratulations. Good on you. So, Mr. Terry Ryan. Ms. Shirley Tanner. A little bit of background, I think Shirley and I might have our names on a little book that was written many years ago for the centenary of the Lindenow Football Club. We were a part of a group that co-authored it, so congratulations, Shirley. Thank you for your contributions. Now, Mr. Ian Hall, who is representing Red Cross East Gippsland Patient Transfer Service. Is he? Apology. Must say he may be an apology. He could be at the wheel as we speak. His contribution was to do with volunteerism and taking people to and from medical appointments, whether it be local or all the way to Melbourne, and there's a group of them do this on a volunteer basis, and they're very much admired for that, and we thank them for that volunteerism. Thank you.
Congratulations to everyone being all the finalists to be recognised there. We thought it was something new that we've done, and we wanted to make sure that we did actually recognise all the finalists. The great work that happens in our community, it's so important. As John said, there are many, many worthy recipients and worthy nominees. We now move to the Young Citizen of the Year. Mr. Mayor.
I knew there was another page here, but it wouldn't come apart for me. So, now, the Young Citizen of the Year Award celebrates the achievement and contribution of our region's young people. Possibly could say some of our most valuable parts of our community, our young people. They will be our future leaders in days to come, years to come. So, these young citizens who, through their leadership and involvement in the community, provide role models for their generation. And the finalists for the Young Citizen of the Year were Mr. Artie Green-Cook, Ms. Amira Hayward, Ms. Lee Mitchell, Ms. Molly Richardson, Ms. Annie Rogers, and Ms. Brodie Scott. Unfortunately, Artie and Brodie were not able to attend today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to announce our Young Citizen of the Year, and I have seen her in action, so I've given it away a little bit. It's a she, and I would like you all to applaud and congratulate Annie Rogers. Now, Annie, could you please join me and perhaps give us a little bit of a talk? I know you'd be quite humble about this, and I know all of the things that you have achieved in your short time, but if you could tell the guests here a little bit about yourself, it'd be good. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Wow. I was not expecting to win this or to have to say some words, but here we are. So thank you so much for everything. I'm not really sure if I feel like I should be receiving this award, because I do what I do because I enjoy it, and I really like to give back, and it's pretty much through the support of my friends and family that push me to do things and encourage me to do things that I'm really, really grateful for that. So I wouldn't really be where I am or do the achievements that I have without the support of them. So I would say it's not just an award for me, but for my family and friends as well. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, but thank you so much.
I could add, and she's just epitomised this, Annie's achievements are numerous and outstanding, however she is modest. With a genuine desire to always do her best, with a focus on how she can help others. She is a well-rounded young person, a very mature individual and a caring individual, and always friendly. Annie has competed in state and national taekwondo competition across Australia. In 2019, she took the gold medal in her division at the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic in Melbourne. Annie is a third level black belt, so don't cross her. Annie is also an accomplished saxophone and piano player while studying VCE. Annie gave up many lunchtimes helping mentor younger players attending junior and intermediate band rehearsals, sitting alongside them and helping to play their parts. And when I said I have seen Annie in action, it was at the awards night for the SECO in Bensdale, and I saw her doing her stuff, and she is very, very good. In fact, I love that. I did love her when she got up and did a solo. It was great. So due to her experience, Annie has also taken lessons teaching junior players. Her enthusiasm is infectious, and it is evident she has a real love for music. And just by the way, just as something else an achievement that she did, she was also Dux of the school. So you know she is modest. She could have said that herself. But I'll put that over here. Congratulations. Well deserved. Well deserved.
Thank you so much.
Would you like to take your medallion and you got a spare hand?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Annie. What a great an awardee. As we did previously, we'd also like to now recognise the finalists in that event. And I would say to the Mayor, young people are great people, and in fact, they are leaders in our community already. And I think that is the wonderful thing about young people. They are already there and having a go at becoming leaders for the things that they do. And I think it's a wonderful reflection on the young people in this community. So there are 3 people's names here. Would you like me to read them, Mr. Mayor, or are you happy to do it? Okay, could we ask Amira Haywood to come up? Ms. Lee Mitchell, could you please come up? And then the final name, Ms. Molly Richardson, could you please come? We now move to our final award, the Community Event of the Year. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Anthony. The Community Event of the Year award recognises the most outstanding community event held in East Gippsland Shire during the past year. The finalists for our Community Event of the Year are the Bairnsdale Christmas Committee, the Gippsland Lakes Paddle Challenge, Lakes Entrance, the Painesville Music Festival, St Andrew's Uniting Church Annual Orbost Flower Show and Walk to Change the Story in Bairnsdale. It is always hard to choose a winner, and this year's proved too difficult and has resulted in a shared award with 2 of these events. So I'd like to congratulate the organisers of the Painesville Music Festival and the St Andrew's Uniting Church Annual Orbost Flower as this year's winners. So firstly, I'll tell you a little bit about the Painesville Music Festival event as the representatives from the committee make their way to the lectern. And Martin's got long legs, so he got here pretty quick. The 2019 Music Festival was held in February on the town's foreshore. This free event benefited the community by improving social connectedness, fostering community spirit and showcasing the beauty of the Gippsland Lakes and East Gippsland. The music festival attracted around 3,000 people over the weekend, which gave an economic boost to local businesses. The 2019 Painesville Music Festival was a popular event for music and artistic culture in the area. It gave local musicians and bands the opportunity to perform in a festival atmosphere. A number of school bands, community bands and the local theatre group also performed. As the festival promotes local talent and music ability, many children form part of these groups and they enjoyed the opportunity to perform. So research has shown that people come from far and wide to attend the festival, with many returning year after year. Painesville Business and Tourism Association work together with other community groups such as the Lions Club, the Sea Scouts and Rotary, as well as local school bands to involve the whole community and put on an outstanding event. What I might ask before Martin and Angela come forward is, are we having it again this year? Because we really do need something. Yes, that's a yes. Sooner the better. Thank you, Martin.
Thank you, Mr Mayor, and thank you everyone. I must say on behalf of the Paynesville Business and Tourism Association, what an absolute honour it is for us to win this award with such a great field of community organisations and events that were listed and received the honour of becoming finalists. The Paynesville Business and Tourism Association organises the music festival. It's been going for over 20 years now, and we are in the thick of finalising arrangements for our festival on the 21st and 22nd of February. The event, like all of the events listed, is run by a very small group of hard-working volunteers, and we do try with our music festival, even though we bring in some acts from outside of the area, we always focus on supporting young musicians and local musicians, and we provide a free event for Friday night, Saturday and Sunday on our public stage, where everyone from the community can come together and celebrate our community of Paynesville, Raymond Island, Newlands Arm and Eagle Point. So I would like to thank East Gippsland Shire, who have been a supporter of the festival throughout its life and our sponsor again this year, and also our major sponsor for the festival, which is the Paynesville and District Community Bank branch, again a really important part of our community. As I said, the volunteers, our group of volunteers burns out like every other group. At the end of February we're going to be saying we'll never do this again, but we will. And again, I want to recognise in these very trying times in East Gippsland the just amazing job that the volunteers do in our community and how they step up to the plate. You know, a music festival is just a lot of fun. It's a great way for people to get together and enjoy our community. But there's not a whole lot of fun out there at the moment in East Gippsland, and I think I share with you all my support and just a huge gratefulness for what volunteers do in our communities, and keep up the good work. Thanks.
So now we move to our next joint winner, and I'd like to talk a little bit about the St Andrews Uniting Church annual Orbost Flower Show event. It's a mouthful, but as the representatives from the committee make their way to the lectern, last year Orbost Uniting Church celebrated its 100th, its centenary annual flower show. So music festival, lift your game, you're 80 years behind. The annual flower show is a highlight of Orbost events calendar and allows residents to display their artistic flair by making floral displays and growing amazing flowers. In 2019, the show received approximately 200 adult entries and over 400 children entered the show as well. This demonstrates the level of support that the event receives from the local community, a community which during that time, and of course ongoing, is just like many other of our communities in desperate times. So to have events like this to just keep people's spirits going and showing community awareness and togetherness, you know, as we do, and show our resilience and resolve, you know, that's great for a small town like Orbost. The show enables the local school students to perform in front of an audience to gain confidence, and it also gave the secondary school's hospitality students a bit of experience in providing the afternoon tea and waiting on the table with the morning tea and lunches. Community members who are not part of the church also volunteered at the show in various capacities. The flower show generated a lot of publicity for the town, particularly as ABC presenter Heather Hewitt, with her roadshow, she came and did a segment on that. So and almost 90 people attended a tea. So, if the members would like to come forward and receive their awards, and again, congratulations. Well deserved. Would you like to speak?
Well,
Of course you will, yes.
First of all, I would like to say we're delighted to receive this award from the Shire. It has been hard work by our committee, and we had a wonderful centenary flower show last year. And I'd also like to thank the East Gippsland Shire for the support they had for us, for the grant that they supported us with too. Thank you. I also wanted to acknowledge the music teacher from the secondary college, Sue Taylor. She did a wonderful job. We had over 281 students singing and performing at the opening of the show, and she also had to adapt the music for them to play as well. So it was a lot of work done by Sue, and I'd like to acknowledge that. I'd also like to thank the community, because without the community we would have no show. They are just wonderful, and the teachers from the school that put so much effort and time into putting the students' work into is wonderful. And I'd like to thank our committee. Without their hard work throughout the year it wouldn't happen. But over 100 years it's been a lot of fun. We have a lot of work put in each year and a theme every year. So last year was our centenary, and with Heather Hewitt opening it, that was a bonus for us too. So thank you very much. Yes, well, the committee wouldn't come up with me. Thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you. Wonder if you can get a good flower off that for next year.
Put that around it too.
Thank you to both our winners. Quite diverse events, but clearly both very good and excellent community events. So in keeping with recognising the other people that have been nominated, can I ask a representative from the Bairnsdale Christmas Committee to come forward, please? Could we have a representative from Gippsland Lakes Paddle Challenge Lakes Entrance?
I'm going to have fun with this one. She's got me, Bill. I better not. Oh, yeah, congratulations. I thought I could have a bit of fun with this. I just thought Richo was, I'm not sure whether he's ready to go paddling again, but he's certainly dressed for it.
And finally, can we have a representative from Walk to Change the Story in Bairnsdale?
Just as it coming up, I actually walked in this, and it was just an amazing thing to be involved in, and congratulations. You know, you've been nominated. Unfortunately, you weren't chosen as a winner, but it was still an amazing event and makes people just totally aware of where we are in our society and who's watching.
Now, I would also like to invite the Honourable Tim Bull to say a few words if he would like to. Please, come up, Tim.
Can't stop him, can we? He loves to speak about things. Good on you, Bully.
Bully. I won't take too long. Just very quickly, well done to all the nominees on your effort on being recognised in the community. A little bit about, I guess, our two winners. Blake Hollins is just an incredible man. He, last year it is now, of course, he received his recognition for 70 years as a legatee. And I know that was mentioned. What a lot of people don't know is that he became a legatee immediately from coming back from active service in Papua New Guinea. So arrived back from the Second World War, where he served in New Guinea with distinction, and joined Legacy immediately as a immediate member of our Defence Forces. The astonishing thing is my grandfather was at that first meeting in 1944 or 9, can't remember, wouldn't have been 4, must have been late 1940s to form Legacy. He served a number of years with my grandfather, my father, and now my older brother, all for decades as a member of Legacy. And whilst he might have been chasing a snake around, I think our Mayor mentioned earlier, Blake's mind is still as sharp as ever, and is just an incredible man with enormous generosity to his community and a number of other agencies. So certainly couldn't think of a better man to be our Citizen of the Year. To Annie, congratulations to Annie. I had a chat to Annie on the awards night at the secondary college, and it's a real breath of fresh air to meet a young person who's so enthusiastic and confident, but is also so humble and respectful and with good morals and ethics. And Annie, you're a credit to your family and to your school, and you will be a great Citizen of the Year. So yeah, I genuinely mean that's absolutely fantastic. Being Junior Citizen of the Year is about being a role model for other youths in our community, and I couldn't think of a better person to do it than you. So well done. Just to the groups who obviously the winners and also the nominations in the community event of the year. When Martin was up here, he touched on the tough time we've been through. And whilst we're no strangers to having natural disasters, we have our fair share in East Gippsland, whether that be fire, floods and storms and the like. This one was sort of the mother of them all. And whilst we will rebuild the houses and we will rebuild the bridges and we'll get the roads open eventually, but we'll get them open, the business community and the local economy is a huge concern. They've had, on the back of 3 years of drought, the prime part of the tourist season ripped away from them, and that's what's going to take a big effort to recover our region economically. So those community events, many of those that were mentioned by John, are events that attract people into our communities and also provide a social environment for our people to get together. So they will be of extra critical importance in the coming 12 months. They must be bigger and better than ever. They must bring people out to talk, because there's a lot of people in our community doing it tough, having gone through this situation, but also to stimulate our East Gippsland economy. We need to make this a really big year in East Gippsland. We absolutely do, because people are battling in business and the stresses and the pressures that go with that. The one thing that we can do, everyone in this room, no matter how young you old or how old you are, you will know people in Melbourne, you will know people from outside our region. Get them to come. Get them to come down and visit it and enjoy our hospitality and buy a coffee, buy a beer, grab bacon and eggs for breakfast, go out for dinner that night. Just come and enjoy our East Gippsland region. So we will be right. We will get through it. There's no other way. We have to stand up again and fight on. And I tell you what, the generosity that I've seen over the last few weeks from unsung heroes and people who just these amazing acts of generosity that no one will ever know about or hear about. They just do it. They just do it, and the only ones that are going to know about it are them. And it puts a lump in your throat when you see and hear and watch people going about their business of helping and supporting each other. So we live in a bloody great part of the world, and we live with some great people, and we've got a great community. We will punch on, we will get over it, and I'm actually looking forward to the next 12 months of getting East Gippsland back on its feet, and everyone has a role to play in that. So thanks for the opportunity to say a few quick words, and all the best to everyone, and well done. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's starting to draw to a close, this awards ceremony. I think let's thank once more our winners, Mr. Blake Hollins, Annie Rogers, the Paynesville Music Festival, and the St Andrews Uniting Church annual Orbost Flower Show. Congratulations to you all, well done. We are so fortunate of another group that is helping us out today, the Lioness Club of Lakes Entrance, helping with the morning tea, so please make sure that you thank them for their help as well. Thank you all for attending. As we've talked about challenging times, but it's so good to come together as a community and recognise these great things that have been happening. Please stay with us, have a chat, and I think that's a great healing opportunity for everyone. So thanks again.